All right, so welcome, comrades, to a special edition of Life and Surround. I have my dear quadraphonic quad friend Clement here, and we're gonna chit chat just about the Life and Surround YouTube channel, his new YouTube channel, and just why we're into surround music to begin with.
Okay,
So what's up?
what's up with you? So let me start with you. What got you into surround music? Do you
Uh,
like how I just took the whole thing over right there?
yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
that was nice.
Totally subversive.
Nice.
Uh, 2012, I was preparing to return home from a Middle East deployment with the U.S.
Mm,
Army, and uh, thought it would be a good idea to have like a project or a hobby that I could just delve as deeply into as necessary, like kind of an escape, or I wouldn't need to spend any time on it, at all. So I thought music was probably a good thing to dive a little bit more deeply into. And sort of like previous to that, I had become vaguely aware over time that I had some surround albums in my music collection, just sort of by accident, like bonus discs in a 2 disc set. So I had Invisible Touch by Genesis,
mm.
Night at the Opera by Queen, the DTS version, and Snakes and Arrows by Rush.
Uh,
And probably if I had dug through my collection a little better, like there may have been others, but I was aware of those three. And then I was aware over time that movies usually are released with a surround soundtrack. And I thought, man, that could be cool to hear Star Wars, X-Wing fighters, TIE fighters buzzing all around my head or whatever. So um, came home from the Middle East. They kind of quarantine you on this demobilization site. I was on Fort Bliss, Texas,
mm,
and I started shopping just like Best Buy, looking at reviews. Bought a home theater system in a box, had it shipped to my house. I just wanted stuff to be there, like when I
right,
got home.
right.
Speaker wire, um, 5 speakers. I think they were kind of these satellite size
Mhm, right.
Boston acoustics, and it was like your basic as you could get Denon. I think it was a Denon, but it was a 5.1. It could do DTS,
Mhm.
couldn't do any HD, this or that. Very basic. So anyway, I got home. While my wife would be sleeping like a normal person's hours, I'd be up at like 2 a.m. and just unable to sleep. And I'd go into the media room and start hanging speakers on brackets and running wire, and got the whole thing set up and was immediately like blown away by just how more immersed in music and movies and stuff that I was. And then
Mhm.
I found out like months later that like a setting on my receiver was set to like big stereo.
Oh,
So I don't even know how much that was masking the true discrete quality of some of these albums and stuff.
yeah.
But let's just say it's fair to say that it took a while to get all the configuration correct with the receiver and then with the player, like even the monitor can present some problems. So months and months and months and months into this, like I finally was listening to like true surround, and I had acquired like Red by King Crimson, and was surfing quadraphonic quad all day every day, just to somehow it came across in my Google searches or whatever, and I got
Right,
totally addicted to it, and so I
right.
started buying stuff off of the surround poles.
Hmm.
And yeah, nowadays, like I do some stereo or mono listening, if it's in the background, in my house, or if I'm kind of doing some task. But I mostly listen to non-surround stuff in my car, and surround music, is what I sit down to listen to because it just pulls me so deeply into the music. Like
Right.
that's sort of what's in it for me. Now, what about you? What got you into surround?
Let me ask you a couple questions. How many times did you deploy?
I've been on 2 overseas deployments,
Okay.
Middle East and Southwest Asia.
Okay. And you're finished, right?
I sure hope so. I've been trying to get out of the military for over a year, and I keep getting the runaround, and nobody really wants to help.
If you need a letter of recommendation, I believe I'm on the FBI's watch list. So I'll
Yeah,
write you.
if
Yeah,
if my transcripts from the VA are not a recommendation enough to put me out, then
right.
like the Army is definitely willing to break you and to keep you as long as you can send bullets downrange, I guess.
Wow. Well, that might be another YouTube channel for you to start. Um,
Ugh.
yeah. Sorry. So when you say you listen to stuff in mono, what do you listen? Are you listening to like old Louis Armstrong?
Well, I mean,
70?
just like essentially, if you're not sitting between 2
Okay.
speakers or 6 speakers, like everything is in mono. Like when
Okay.
you're walking
Okay.
around at the mall or,
I got you.
you know,
I got you.
like
I got you.
where the stereo field or the surround field just is inconsequential.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Music
So
is music is music.
right. You're right about that.
That's the thing to remember.
Frank Zappa. Music is the best. So I actually I'm old enough to have been um, able to listen to quadraphonic sound from the 70s, but I was I was
Now, all right, now so you don't seem that old to me. And the funny thing is, like when I was first getting to know you, oh, do you remember this?
wow. Wow.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do. You saved
So,
that.
so I was like first getting to know you online, like quadraphonic quad messages and stuff, and then
Right.
you did a trip to Japan and
Yeah.
shopped for a bunch of music and found the 7-inch blow by blow for me.
Yes.
And
7-inch and blow by blow in the same sentence is
hey,
somehow
that's this channel has sex appeal officially. I'm not sure for whom, but
yeah,
but
well, as long as your face is on the screen, I can tell you it's got sex appeal for me.
but in
Go ahead.
just but in just getting to know you in that way, I
Right.
assumed that you were maybe a decade or 2 older than I'm judging you to be.
I was conceived in 1960, so
Oh wow, okay,
so
gotcha.
so how old did you judge me to be?
Around 80-ish.
Nice, nicely played. So it was so like I said, I was around to be able to experience quadraphonic sound, but I don't know if I wrote this to you. I I had a job. I was working as a busboy, and I pooled all my money and I bought a stereo system. And so I was not I was not going to diversify into quad sound. And then
As
something
with
else came.
most of the world, right?
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. Had I fallen for it, maybe things would be different today. The way I'm spending money on surround sound here. Um,
I hear you on that.
Yeah. So which just for those of you who are nervous, my wife tells me there's no way I can be a communist because of my capitalist inclination. So be not afraid, comrades. I, I've mentioned on quadrophonicquad.com that I was heavily into substances in high school,
Yeah.
all the way up till tomorrow, actually.
I can neither confirm nor deny whether I was.
Right. Just hold on. I'll be in a minute. So I spent a lot of money on other things besides music, but music and alcohol and drugs really worked for me, and so I got sober a little over 6 years ago. My daughter was on the ropes with an eating disorder, and it's a really long story, but ultimately I came to realize that I had a problem. So when when I got sober, my first thought was, "Oh my Lord, music is going to be horrible. Music's not going to be magical anymore." And I listened to reggae for an entire year, just
Wow.
hoping to kind of right, nothing but reggae, and mostly dub. And eventually, because of just what you said, I'm pointing because this is where I listen right over there. I had set my TV up for movies and surround sound, and same kind of thing. I was like, oh my God, I can listen to music this way too. And once I started listening to music that way, it it brought me back to those homonymic days, DAZE, and
Right.
yeah, and so it's I don't want to condone nor condemn drug use. I know that I can't do it. I can't drink or smoke legal marijuana or ingest legal marijuana because Illinois is one of the 10 states that has legal marijuana. The way it kind of enhanced music for me
Yeah.
is replicated in the surround field. It like I loved what you said about the fact that you sit down and you pay attention to the music. Surround sound kind of makes you
More of an
more
active
in
listener.
tune. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, same thing. I search, I just do a Google search for greatest surround sound mixes, and invariably a review from quadraphonic.com would come up. And so I started looking at the site, and
Nice.
eventually I said, I should just belong to this community, man. And I signed up, and I did exactly what you said. I would search through the polls, and I started with, the top rating, and I just kept going down.
So what's an estimate of how much those polls have cost you?
uh, hmm.
So if you enter your
You can't
collection
put a
into,
price. You can't. I can't put a price on it. It's
yeah,
priceless.
it's priceless. But if you enter your collection into Discogs, like it'll give you
Yeah, I know it will.
a low estimate
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then like the
yeah,
top end
yeah, yeah,
estimate.
yeah,
And
yeah.
looking at that number for me is like, oh my God, I have a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling there's a 12-step program for us.
And that's
But
not even to mention the amps and
oh, right,
I can't have just one system. I've got systems in boxes because I don't use them right now. And,
nice.
if a friend gets the bug, I'm ready to run a system over to their house and set it up.
Right. Do you have 2 dedicated listening rooms
So
spaces?
I have a media room with my Atmos RO3D, style system. Um, it's got like a big center and then some bookshelf fronts and surrounds, and then a couple of subwoofers behind the couch, and a 3D projector in there, a 2D projector for those blockbuster type movies. And then we usually just watch everything on like a 55-inch TV that's also 3D.
Yeah,
I want to talk more about 3D as the Life in Surround channel goes on,
that's
because
great.
there aren't very many good 3D titles, but the ones that are there are super fun. So
Nice.
I'll talk about those eventually, probably just in one video. Like
Yeah.
if you have a 3D TV, go get these 5 titles or whatever. But
It kind of lends itself to 3 videos, actually.
and and then in my listening room, I intended to make it like a dedicated quad station, and I did that video, Operation Quad Station.
Right.
And in doing the research and seeing what I had to work with the bones of this room and just how far away I wanted to be from each speaker and everything, based on a site that Wendy Carlos put up,
Mm,
formerly Walter Carlos,
right.
her recommendation was to not have like a diagonal 4 corners quad setup, but to move those rears much, much closer to the 5.1 convention anyway, because she
Mm,
feels like it makes the music more cohesive and you don't get these big gaps.
mm-hmm.
If parts go spiraling around the room, you don't want them to jump.
Right.
You want them
Right.
to you want them to flow.
Yeah.
So anyway, I found out that I was like, damn, I got these 4 giant Klishp vintage 1992 KG 55 towers set up, and then a guy who sold me 2 of them threw in the center because it didn't work, and I know something about electronic repair, so I repaired it, got it working, and then he threw in the matching vintage subwoofer as well for $100.
Wow.
So anyway, set up this vintage Klishp listening system. Tried to run it directly out of my Oppo 103 and found out that that is a very poor preamp
Mm,
because it doesn't have a lot of bit rate with the digital volume.
mm-hmm.
So full blast, you know, it was like deafening, like a jumbo jet. So if I turned it down to 25% or whatever, it just sounded awful because the signal was super attenuated. So then I ended up getting a Emotiva XMC 200 Pro, like surround controller. And so my listening system is Oppo into Emotiva into Klishp, and it's it's smooth, it's powerful. I don't get enough time to sit in my little camping chair because these floor standers are all they're not on stands or anything, so the tweeters are around ear height if I'm sitting in this little camping chair that I went and got from REI. So, you know, it's collapsible. I just pull it out of the corner of the room, I set it in the middle of the room, and it's just me kind of either that or I have this bean bag if I want to sit Lotus style.
Nice.
Talk about active listening, right? Because if you're sitting Lotus, like you have to be like connected with your core and your breathing and
Kiss my chakra.
yeah, you know, so those are my two different systems. And then I have 5.1 monitoring on my computer because I dabble with mixing. I haven't ever completed anything that I feel is ready, you know, to go out to the public.
Right.
But at least for if friends are doing test mixes for me, I can fire it up in Fubar and just listen to it instantly.
Nice.
But I do like that my recording DAW, because I am a recording artist too.
Yes,
I
you are.
like that I have the opportunity to throw a surround bus on the song and kind of pan things around the room and instantly hear in real time like what it might be like if a real engineer, you know, put his hands to it.
Nice.
So what's your main system?
It's
thing you found at a garage sale?
Well, not really. It's a Sony. I've got a Sony Blu-ray player, and I bought an Oppo 103.
Right on.
You may have actually steered me toward an Oppo 103. I don't remember.
Over HDMI, right? Are you using it over HDMI?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, and then I've got some JBL speakers that I put onto a big old TV.
Right on.
It's kind of sad, in the world of surround, size does matter. So yeah, and I hesitate to look. I was gonna go back and check out my Discogs collection button, but I sent my daughter the link, and she nearly shat herself. Because that's
Dad needs some help.
Well, that's her inheritance.
Right on.
I don't know that she's ready for it that way. Hey, do you ever find that I was cleaning my bedroom the other day and I unearthed some things that I had no idea I had purchased? And I've been sober for 6 years. I have no idea how these happen.
I have titles that I formerly knew where they were, and I probably loaned them out to friends. And I went looking for the Eagles Farewell 1 Blu-ray a while ago, and was like, where is it? So it's around somewhere. If you're watching this and you have it, go ahead and send it back to me.
Nice.
But all right, so we kind of talked about what got us into surround.
Yeah.
And so then coming back from this last deployment, again, I wanted a project to immerse myself in and just be able to obsess on if needed. And while I was still in the Middle East, started shooting videos about surround music just on my phone, either in my barracks or I could go check out this music room at the USO. USO is an organization that tries to provide downtime and recreation for troops. So at the USO building on the base I was at, I could check out this music room for an hour at a time, and you could still hear a lot of noise out in the main hall, but it was soundproofed enough that I bought this little lapel mic and tripod just off of Amazon, super cheap, for my cell phone, and would just set up my cell phone, and I would try to write out some Cliff's Notes about a topic. Like I did a few primers on Steven Wilson's surround. I think everything that he personally is on, so not his remixes, but his solo albums, Porcupine Tree, his side projects. So I did a 3-part series on that, and then I just started kind of riffing on topics like hey, did you know that your favorite album might be in surround?
Hmm.
Just stuff like that. And I wanted just to have something rolling when I got home that I could just hit the ground running and go for it. And the idea was to do something beneficial for this hobby
Hmm.
because there is a lot of information about surround music in text form, like the Quadraphonic Quad Forum, that's a text-based medium.
Right.
And then, Facebook, that's mostly text. And I just thought, there's got to be people out there that get more out of videos than text-based. Like I tend to spend a lot of my time, if I want to know how to do something, if I want to just be entertained for 10 minutes or something, I fire up YouTube a lot. So I figured, there's got to be something there.
Have you considered interpretive dance, maybe?
I can't dance. My wife can dance to anything, so
Nice.
maybe I can get a
There you go.
collaboration going with her. Yeah.
Wow, it's a family affair. So around the time when I first discovered I could look on Discogs and see how much my collection was worth, um, I I thought, oh my lord, I need to stop buying music and
Right.
listen to the music that I have. So I thought to myself, well, I should just review music. I should
Yeah.
write a review. Just text reviews, and there we go. And then I thought, well, writing is kind of a hassle in the sense that as a recovering English teacher, it's never really finished for me. It's
Right.
always, the draft is always,
You abandon it and move on.
it's able to be improved. It's just never
Sure.
perfect. And
Right.
I'm always kind of tweaking the language. So I thought, well, I could really give a shit about video. So why don't I just make a video about it? And so I search YouTube, and then boom, there I see you in the USO room. And I'm like, damn, this guy beat me to it. So I was like, well, I'm not going to do that.
I
Uh,
was honestly shocked when I did just a few minutes of research,
right?
like to find out that it was a totally open niche,
It
which is,
was pretty much you.
that's an advantage if, you're trying to build like this nerdy niche topic because there's no competition. But I really welcome others doing their own thing. Like, you recently did the review of Disturbing the Universe, and I appreciate that.
What an
'Cause then,
amazing album. I
'cause-
can't believe you've heard of that album. Very few people have heard of it.
yeah, it's so obscure. Um,
Hey,
it was it was
have you,
humbling to hear your review, just because uh, partly because of coming down with really severe PTSD symptoms in this last year. I have experienced like the severe disconnection from music, my own music. I can
yeah,
listen to other people's music, and Life
yeah,
in Surround is like super therapeutic for me. And I love that we're building the surround hobby and sharing it together. And I get a lot out of that. But I had like a whole album's worth of material that I completely abandoned. I can't listen to it. I can't work on it. Like I just stopped cold. And then to just hear somebody else describing like what they were getting out of this music that I did feels like it was from a former life, like a different me.
yeah.
And but anyway, I appreciated a lot of your insights, and it may end up being just cathartic for me, like to hear what you got out of the album lyrically and musically and everything. I started writing a new song just to try it out and see if it feels good, and if anything, if it ends up sounding good. And so we'll see where
Nice.
that goes. But anyway, I appreciate that you did that. And what I would like to express to you is that what you brought to that review is something that I could never do. Like you have this turn of phrase and this attitude and this personality that I think could do our hobby a lot of good. So I encourage you to, and often when I'm surfing the listening to now thread on
Yes.
Quadraphonic Quad,
Right.
like
Right.
it's very infrequent that you and I are listening to remotely the same type of thing. So it's like, in a way, doesn't even need to be a competitive thing. I may just naturally cover albums that you wouldn't normally get to, and vice versa. So I encourage you to jump in and do some Clement style Stay Surrounded Comrades surround reviews.
Well, you know,
I for one am already a fan and would love to see some more.
well, I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot to me coming from you, and the fact that uh, anything I said in the review of your piece resonated with you. That's a I can't even. I want to say something, but I'm afraid you won't edit it out. But
Hey,
I'll just tell you, I'm really humble. I'm humbled
well,
by it.
so I'm humbled by you. You're humbled by me.
Let's get humbled together.
Two very humble men. So one question for you, and then let's wrap up this meeting,
Okay.
and we'll begin the next topic
Okay.
in another meeting. All right. So you said in your review that you feel like I am on the verge of like cutting loose with my voice. And
Yeah,
I want to know what you mean by that. There are some songs on the album where, like,
you do.
to my opinion, like it's
You do.
raw and it's really belted out there. And
Yeah.
then I also hear from some listeners that the songs that they like most are where I'm in my most natural timbre, like Naomi, where it's like as close to your speaking voice as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So just let me know what you were meaning by that, because it could be helpful for me, like as I, forge on into new projects, just to know kind of where you're coming from with that.
Well, I was thinking, I'm thinking of those songs that you're referencing, I'm guessing toward the end of the album, where you really kind of, I forget the titles, but
Yeah, Bleed
like
is one
Blood,
where the vocals belted out.
is it
Uh,
Bleed?
and then Break You is
Break
pretty
You,
raw.
Break You. I was thinking they're titles with B's in them.
All the
On the
songs
B
with
side,
bees.
yeah. Um, it's the picture. It's that picture that I put into the review of you. I mean, you look like you're just wailing.
Like where's this vocal?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And I hear you about some of those songs don't lend themselves to that kind of delivery, but
Yeah, like the Peter Gabriel stuff.
yeah. But for me, the album, the writing process, the thematic material that you cover seems ultimately potentially very cathartic. And I'm just wondering if I could get some of that catharsis from your voice as well. I mean, I don't know if it's fair to talk about this because you'll just edit it out. But just you pounding the out of your drums, that kind of raw emotional energy, it just feels like there's something inside of you that wants to come out. And
Well, so you've had a chance to hear this new song, that I'm
yeah,
trying to cook up, and like you said, it's me going all caveman on the drum kit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just some really straight ahead Neil Young and Crazy Horse loud guitar playing, and we'll see where that goes. The lyrics and the singing style that I have in mind is like a shouty
Good.
type of
I like
rant.
it.
So
It seems like that's what you need,
well, we'll see if my voice can pull it off. I'll have to get back into my vocal lessons and try to do some training and warm up, and we'll see where it goes. There is a point where, I feel like Disturbing the Universe is great for like a homespun album made by friends on hobbyist budgets. I would really love someday to know what I could do with like a really great producer.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Talk to Bob Clearmountain.
So there would be the matter of whether I could afford that. So maybe with my economic stimulus check, just forward it over to him.
Nice.
He does live
Nice. How about a GoFundMe?
He does live just a little bit south of me, so
Wow.
I've driven 8 hours for way dumber stuff.
Yeah, take my habit, please.
Yeah, GoFundMe type of thing. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really feel like I don't like exploiting people. I would love for people just to enjoy music free if they could, but artists have to make a living, but I have I support my family like with my day job. So in a way, I feel good that I can be detached from that. Like, I made back the production costs for Disturbing the Universe, and then gave all the rest of the money to charities.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's I would have no problem funding a guy who's going to do that, who's going to just recoup his production costs, and then the rest goes to a charity. And it's Doctors Without Borders, right?
Yeah, that was the one for Disturbing the Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for Out the Window, I think the charity was this thing that helps feed Muslim mothers.
Wow.
What was it called? Freedom from Hunger.
Mm,
And that's a great charity as well. I checked into them recently, and they're still around.
nice.
All right, so I'll see you in the next meeting.
Stay surrounded, comrade.
Live life and surround.